one would easily venture, and these are unpopular statements, but we are not here to sell ice cream, is that Mr. Rigathi Gachagua, in fact, is the biggest threat to a united opposition in Kenya, because he wants everybody else to dance to his drum beats. He's on a path to ensure that he manipulates all the voters. So at the end of the day, there's going to be a lot of misinformation and disinformation. For instance, he says that I represent people from Mount Kenya who've been kicked out of the Kenya Kwanza administration. But look at the cabinet composition. Look at the principal secretaries. He's the only person who was kicked out and replaced by another person from Mount Kenya. But he's been able to nationalize his personal issues to the extent that there is a good number of Kenyans, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on where you are seated, who actually believe that Mount Kenya has been excluded from the administration. If you go to the National Assembly, check out who is the majority leader at the National Assembly. Where does he come from? Who is the clerk of the National Assembly? Where does he come from? If you remember the list of cabinet secretaries, just count them. Out of 22, how many are from Mount Kenya? Look at the list of principal secretaries. Look at parastatal heads. And reports have been done by the government's own agencies on even the skilled employment. But people believe that. Even outside Kenya, when you look at international politics, I mean, you say you go to Tanzania, they had an election today, but because a number of people are not engaged in critical thinking, they did not even follow the process, and some of them have become victims of misinformation, disinformation. I suspect because people don't engage in deep research, they may not even be knowing that in the last concluded election in Tanzania, that the Chama cha Mapinduzi administration made sure that all the presidential candidates, apart from the president, the other 15, all of them were given 3 top-of-the-range vehicles. They were given state security, and they were given state resources for their campaigns. But you know, President Samia Suluhu won because she comes from a very strong candidate. So are you going to blame Samia Suluhu from coming from a party with a very strong candidate and resources? Are you going to blame her because she's got a weak opposition? Now let's come back to Kenya. How come we glorify people who steal? And we know for a fact that these guys are thieves. They've been found guilty by competent agencies. So if there's a thief from my village, I'm very happy. But if there's a thief from Kidi's constituency, nasema huyo ndio mwizi. Now, we've said these things times above number, that these guys cannot even become the chairman of a cattle dip in your village. But you make him the chairman, or rather you make him an MP, or you make him a governor. In a nutshell, because I can see that there's a lot of contribution. So what happens when we engage in this hero worship, or when we become fanatics? We suppress top talent. We've always said that...
Actually, allow me to... You see, what you're saying, I can see faces in the audience actually shifting and reacting, nodding and so on about this. Allow me to throw something